Cool. Mike, I'm so excited. You're bringing 3v3 to the UAE. Obviously, we met quite a few years ago now through the FA and the 3v3 UK. Being in Dubai myself now, I'm just so excited to get involved and experience this here. Can you give us a bit of a background on how it all started and the ins and outs of 3v3, what it is and the benefits?
Yeah, sure. No, thanks, Jess. We started this 5 years ago as 3v3 UK, and background to that, I had my own 3v3 like leagues that I run here, and I did it. I was just a dad coach. I was running, under 6, under 7 teams at the time, and just realised that the 3v3 format was a great addition to their existing program, which at the time was 5v5. So we carried on doing it, and then it just got better and better, built it up. Then we partnered with Bazooka Goal, who made the mini pop-up nets, who had just made the Airpitch, and asked me, did I want to take it on for the UK? So we did that. First event was mega, and it just grew and grew, and at the moment, it's gone massive. We've worked with, like you said there, with the FA. We do that Future Lionesses program. We do one called the Greater Game with the FA. We work with the ETCs, which are like all the girl clubs in the country. The Premier League, they hire us in every year to do a welcome festival for their new under-9s. Loads of pro clubs, Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, Wolves, Forest, Villa were on the other day, Crystal Palace, I am going to miss them out. Spurs, are they a big club? But yeah, I don't want to get
debatable.
Well, so loads of Premier League clubs, loads of other clubs as well. We're at Stockport County the other day. Just loads of different programs. Do a lot with the community and the foundations of clubs, and as well as with the academies. Work with county FAs, so our regional FAs, and we do a lot of work with them. Load of grassroots clubs and a load of individuals as well. So yeah, I used to say from 5 to 55 was our age group, but we've now added walking football 3v3 to it then, and we did an event the other week with Derby County, another club we've done stuff with.
That one.
Is it?
Yeah,
there we go. Well, this might be your level of football, actually. It was over 80s, right? 3v3 walking football for people with Alzheimer's.
Nice.
And it worked really well, keeping that ball in play. And that's what the Airpitch then does. By having an inflatable surround around the pitch, just keeps that ball in play, makes it a lot faster game to be involved in. You can use it obviously as a rebound as well. Having a smaller format means players get more touches on the ball, more involvement in the game because it's constant transitions all the time. Fitness levels, like I say, it's such hard work. It's like a hit session, people say. I've just a 8-minute, really fast game. I say of everything involved. So loads of 1v1s, loads of shooting opportunities, but then also loads of defending opportunities as well, which is a lot of people miss that part of the game, especially at the younger age groups. So that real fast. So we've seen loads of kids and how they've improved, regardless of the level. We're lucky enough to work with the best kids in the country. Like I say, we do all the Premier League under-9s at one weekend in September. We do all the Future Lionesses, like the top talent IDs, so the best 15 to 16-year-old girls or 14 to 16-year-old girls in the country. We do it with them, so we get to see some real high-level games. But for me, just at an event the other week with a girls one over in Liverpool, and the girl, she shouted to a teacher because it was a schools one, "I've just scored my first ever goal," right? So seeing players, at that level, like I say, right the way up. And I remember the ones who scored the first goal more than the elite stuff that we do. Just because I love those moments, and I'm feel proud and lucky that we're involved, in helping that happen. So no, been a mad 5 years. We've now launched this around many other countries. So Dubai will be, I think it's our 14th or 15th country. So we do it now in the US, over in Canada, Mexico, Panama. There are North and South America ones. Europe, so UK, Germany, Norway. Well, it's our big three originals that we've done it for a long time. Then we've got France, Spain, Poland.
Germany as well.
Germany, yeah. Germany's one of the big three.
You've got a lot of growth with football federations now as well, haven't you? So I know obviously we met through English FA, but then you've seen huge growth with other federations.
Yeah. So partly again through, I won't say it's all us, but influencing in different countries by what we do and by showcasing and constantly showcasing the benefits of small-sided games. So people take note. We're luckily you're fair now, so we worked on a project with the English FA for the past 2 years called the Future of Youth Football. They were reviewing everything that goes on in youth football, and they didn't want to have a complete change. They just wanted to see if we can tweak things here and there. Last month, they then made the announcement of introducing 3v3 as the game that all under sevens will play as of like the 26th season.
Game changer.
100%, and again, we've been there and done it almost. So we've seen hundreds of kids over the years who, if this is their first introduction to football, that accelerated development, you just see it too many times now. And I still watch a lot of youth football, and you'll see kids or teams, and they'll have too many subs. So you work out, and I've done the stats. They'll play a 40-minute game. They're off a half anyway, so the 20 minutes is all they're on. Then, if there was equal ball time, they'd only have it, the ball's in play half the time as well, throwing corners, everything else, right? So they actually got like 2 minutes of ball time, and that's assuming everyone's the same, and it's not. There's always one or two dominant players in the team. So you see some kids and you go, oh, I wonder why they're not getting better. You go, because they kicked the ball for 1 minute, virtually. Whereas in 3v3, again, we've done the stats. We're like four times plus on every single action and that we've measured. And for me, the most important thing, and you don't really measure it, is it's so much more fun. Yeah. As a player, regardless of your age, you want to be talking about what skills you've done, what goals you've scored, what tackles you've made. Right. And you'll always remember them, and they say, no matter how old you are, I always say, you've got a ball at your feet, you're that little kid again.
What's stats like for? Sorry to interrupt. What's stats like for goals scored in those little games?
So on average, a goal. Well, we have about 12 in an 8-minute game that we play. Our average goals, and we've done all these tournaments over the years. Average is 12 goals, per game. Wow. So I don't know what that is. What's that? Every 40 seconds, or something. So
every kid loves scoring goals.
And it's that. And a question I always ask at the end of every event is, who scored a goal today? And everyone puts their hand up, and you go, oh, right.
Yes,
and you compare that to, like, say, normal football. And again, madly enough, I remember stories where, again, another girl, she scored a goal at one of our events, and as she was coming over to get a medal, she's telling her dad, I scored my first goal today. And I was like, oh, brilliant, tell me about it, and so on. And then I asked her dad, has she just started playing? She went, no, she's played for 6 months. I'm going, at 6 months, and she'd not scored. And,
look how she feels.
And it's that she goes home and tells everyone. And for me as a coach, I say, and for every coach, our job is to make a kid love the ball that much that they want to come back and they want to go home and practice, and that's our job. There's loads of other things, but, fundamentally, that's why I say our number one job as a coach is to just put that love of the ball into that player, because we'll only spend an hour or two a week with them, and they'll have many more hours on their own. So will they go home and want to recreate something in the garden, or go out onto the park and, just play, and into school, into the team? So no, and say, luckily enough, we've had hundreds of kids over the years, and I hate using it as a measure of success, but how many get signed into academies, how many, like saying, the girls go into the ETC, which are like the emerging talent centres, which is generally by the club, or there's some like regional ones as well. And we've had, let's say, loads.
Are you seeing any young girls from those events previously entering into like Lioness squads now?
Yeah, so lucky enough, a couple of girls. So England under 15s had a game last week v Spain, I think one of the games was, and some of the girls who have been to us were part of that squad. So it's a proud moment for us. It's nothing to do with us. It's 100%. It's to do with the kids. But we've just been a little part of that journey, and we've seen them, and they were spotted then at one of our events, brought into the pathway, and now, let's say, pulling on the free line shirt, like I say, must be an unbelievable feeling for them. And yeah, like I say, so proud and that we were a little bit a part of that. Our boys are probably, like I say, a bit behind. With the girl stuff, we started like with the emerging the talents, so that they were older players. Whereas the boys, when we started this, let's say 5 years ago, or longer for me, 7 years ago actually, and now like getting scholarships. So my first group of players that we started with, and now, like I say, just getting scholars this year under 16. So next few years, hopefully, we'll have some pro players from our boys group as well. But yeah, the girls that we started at older age groups, yeah, we started seeing them coming through. So no, fingers crossed. And I was sat there watching on telly, going, yeah, we were only a little bit part of it. Saying, yeah, it's all down to them themselves. So.
I think from my experience of 3v3, it's about like the environment that you create as well. So I think back to like when we utilised 3v3 UK for the Discover My Talent, the Talent ID event, it was almost solved the problem for us because we were looking to talent ID in a setting that was maybe not as realistic, or it's very difficult to spot talent in a game that might be flat because there's a varied level of player or the pace of play is lower. It's really difficult to see players and give them the platform to like thrive and shine. And I think that's one thing like I remember, it was probably the USP, was it put players in a setting where they could thrive, they could shine, they could display super strengths that they have. And I remember we created our future Lioness characteristics, which you'll be familiar with, and every single one of them was almost a byproduct of what like the gains and the benefits of 3v3. So when I think to like the 4-corner model, we were looking for players that were like fast and agile. We were looking for players that can affect the game with physical capabilities, players that want to stay on the ball, master the ball. So linked to like the England DNA, players who love the ball, who can win 1v1s and dominate 1v1s. And then that psychosocial corner that you talked about, in that players who love to win, players who love to learn. And when I think of 3v3, there's so many problems for them to solve in under pressure in such a short time space that the decision making is heightened, and all these returns they're getting is like it's almost magnetized, and you get to see it tenfold. And that was the beauty of it for us when I was with the FA. And then it allowed us to then talent ID players that shone in those areas. And those were the players then that we wanted to like ID and take forward into like the Lioness talent pathway. So how do you see, like, obviously that started a while back, like how do you see that growth? And why do you think that is? Like, how come it's been such a success?
It's, like you said there, everything that, you're trying to look at from the talent ID like point of view, you get to see them in a short space of time. One, like with the number of girls and that come through the program that have been referred, if you had to watch all of them, in a 9 or 11-a-side game, you'd be there for literally for months probably, and still probably go, oh, don't know about her, because the game to see her, she might
touch the ball maybe once or twice.
You know what I mean? She would have been involved. Where in 3v3, it's just that constant repetition. You get to see. Like I say, if you were marking all them characteristics, you'll get to see all of them in a short space of time. And then also it almost like forces that environment on them, just because of how intense the game is, because it's never out of play. It just, everything just, heightens, the emotions. So the girls
cope with that.
And you get to see the ones that can. And also, again, the talent ID day is probably different to a normal team setting, the girls come and the boys, we've done it with both, and they don't know each other. And, it's normally that social carnival. What am I going to do here? Who am I going to be playing with? And am I going to be put in the right position? And it's like, and that happens. And I've seen them, parents.
There is no right position.
They're going, oh, yeah, my daughter didn't do so well because she was playing right midfield and she's normally a left back. And it's going, well, at 3v3, you get to see on the ball, off the ball, everything. Then, what you'll see in the big game, can you dominate that 1v1, whether it's in or out of possession, what fitness levels are like, so the amount of just the intensity of work that they need to get through. You can almost, just put a big magnifying glass on that smaller game and see everything. And then almost, when you've watched a girl, and only maybe for a few minutes, but you'll see all these interactions, you can tell, is she ready or is she not? Or is she a maybe, So rather than having to stand there all game and watch a 90-minute game and see the right back touch the ball 5 times, you're going, I don't know how good she is, really. She's not had anything to do. So really helps on that side from the talent ID point of view.
But then I bet from like a development perspective, the earlier you get kids into this model of football, this format of football, like linked to obviously it being commissioned now and UK wide, 3v3 as a format for U7s, like the development aspect for players accessing that as early as possible, like that for the game is huge.
Oh, 100%. Like I say, I know. So we've done this in Germany. So 3v3 Germany are probably a couple of years ahead of us in terms of this being the introductory game they have under 7s and under 8s. So they only play 3v3 there. A couple of other countries have other, similar models. Belgium, for example, have a 2v2 and then a 4v4 model. And it's all about at that golden age, that young age, when you want to teach these technical capabilities, they're just getting more and more chances to try them, but then also in a scenario then that's realistic. So there's a player there, they're not beating a cone that doesn't tackle, right? And I see some kids, who are great at beating cones, look unbelievable on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
You're watching them in the game, and you go, that's
that cone moved.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Didn't see that player, that was coming. Whereas, and again, as I do see a big value in like one-to-one training, and then but the big game, if they only go from here to there, you don't get a chance to repeat it often enough to just to make it stick in your head. Whereas in 3v3, you'll just get constant chances to recreate what you've been practicing. If you're doing a one-to-ones, but then if you're not, let's say, in that golden time that you have these younger age groups of kids wanting to learn, we've done it where we've sat and clicked and how many touches of a ball a kid has had, and then you'll see him in training and they're stood in the queue waiting the turn, not getting much involved, and then the match day, let's say I said before, by the time they've been sub and just a game, so we just accelerate everything with 3v3. And then I say the Airpitch just adds that extra dimension of constantly keeping it in play, like all the stats, like 96%, ball in play time. Fitness levels, I say, are just forced to go through the roof because they're constantly on the move. And for me, and I know coaches have different thoughts on what football philosophy is about. For me, it's always about, what's the decision? What is it? Making good decisions. Is it to pass? Where is it to move? Should I go and beat a player? Where should I put my body, when he's coming through? There's just hundreds and hundreds of decisions. And at 3v3, no matter what age, you do it at, you're just forced to make these decisions and make them quicker. Because there's not even, in 11-a-side football, you'll have half a second, in 3v3, you don't even get a quarter of a second. So when you watch the best players in the world, and you look back at their youth career and go, oh, they were so involved in futsal, they were so involved in street football. These are, fundamentals that they did when they were a kid, that then just makes it easier as you grow up into the adult game. So,
and I think those kind of things as well, they're almost lacking nowadays in kids' upbringings and childhoods. Rarely, I know in particular in Dubai, but rarely kids will play on a street. I grew up playing on the street, but here it's like that's not a thing. So it's almost replicating that. And that's for me, for when I first came to Dubai, that was one of the biggest things that I recognized very early and very quickly, that technical ability, the level of technical ability was different to UK and Europe. And when I say different, maybe not advanced. And then,
you've been polite.
Yeah, trying to be. And fundamental movement skills. It's obviously kids are exposed to certain things depending on where they are in the world. Even like in England, whether you grew up in inner city Manchester versus like rural Devon. But that for me was there were two things that stood out, in that lack of fundamental movement skills, and then the technical ability being quite a lot lower. That's why I'm so excited to bring our teams to play in this, because like it's needed, massively needed. But like for you, like why Dubai, why the UAE?
Several reasons. Obviously, we've expanded this. So 3v3 UK is the company that I own. We're part of 3v3 World, and I sit on the board of Airpitch International. So we have multiple format Airpitches, and that's the next steps. Once we've done 3v3, we'll bring our 1v1 pitches over, the 2v2, the 4v4, and the 5v5. Like we have this complete mixed format. I've seen what a hotbed people I know, yourself included, a few other people had gone to Dubai. Beautiful country, you hear great things about it. I'm thinking, the sun's out today in Manchester, but that's pretty rare actually. So I wanted to come over there and bring it to another country. I was in America, Chicago in January at -10, and thinking, why am I coming in this level? So selfishly I was like, right, let me pick a hot country and go to. But mainly I see how much football's grown there, and think we can add value to clubs and to players. And that's ultimately, for me, I'm a coach at heart, and all I care about is how can we make players better. And I see there's a lot of football going on, over there, and it's like, okay, can we come and help, these players? Who knows, where that might end up? Like we spoke about before, we'll have, lionesses, playing, and lions, the 3 lions, and and the boys. So we'll have them. But for me, you mentioned it there, we don't have this, like the street football is unstructured version. Everything's organised, and I get it. In today's world, we've got to be, in a safe environment, and that's got to be, number one priority. But then it can just be too organised and too adult-led. And sometimes these are words that coaches don't want to hear. It's like, just shut up and let the kids play, and let them figure it out. And it's a long-term development game, that process, because you can tell a kid now what to do and they'll do it, or you can let him make a mistake 10 times and then he'll learn, and then he'll do it for life. Whereas if you want an instant result, there's one way. If you care, okay, what's the future and what's going to make this as a better player? It's this long-term development and letting them make mistakes. And I say this constant repetition, getting loads of times, and I've seen it where kids have, especially with the other foot, but big bugbear of mine is kids who have one foot. Right? I don't get it. Myself included. Yeah. As a kid, I played at Man United. I was a left footer. So guess where I played? Left midfield. That was like pigeonholed as soon as I was born with a left foot. There's kids now, and you see them, and at pro level, the amount of chances you see pros, you go, choose your left foot or your right foot, or whatever the other foot is, and they don't do it. And it's because at a young age, they just don't practice it enough, and it just doesn't become part of their DNA. We have a kid now who we started with him at 3v3, and his dad said, right, I want him to, he's left-footed, he wanted to work on his right foot, and he'd only come to our weekly sessions to use his right foot only. Now, then first few weeks, guess what? He wasn't rubbish, but he wasn't good. Yeah. And the kid in his head probably thinking his body shape was all wrong, his standing foot was wrong, everything, was just way off. Right. But luckily enough, his dad knew the long-term process and stuck with it. And then it comes to a point where we go, right, you can go 80%, 20%. So you don't always have to use your weaker foot or other foot. and then they become a 50-50 and so on. You watch that kid now, you'd think he's two-footed. Right? Now, if we on day one, or the kid on day one said, I don't like this is too much of a challenge, I'm not good at it, we'll stop it. Or his dad then thought, I want my son to be the best now, not what was right for his long-term development. Only took it 12, 15 months or so. And say, you watch him now. Yeah, he played for Man City. He won player of the tournament in the recent Robin van Persie one in Holland. Gets accolades galore. And I say, we spent a long time working on his other foot. And it was just a simple thing to do. For us, simple, what I've seen. For the kid, probably hard and got easier. But say, you watch him now and he's an unbelievable player.
Do you know that as well? Like, this is going off on a tangent, but coaches spend hours designing practices to get those returns. Whereas if you just stick these kids in an air pitch like that, they're going to get them, aren't they? Like, you couldn't condition, obviously, like you did, but you're forced to do these things. You're forced to work hard. You're forced to defend. You're forced to find a way out of these tight spaces using both feet. Like, it's by design. It's there. You don't need to plan anything. Even if you were just to stand back and let them play, they would still see these returns.
100%. And again, I should have a t-shirt. Yeah, we've been there, done it. We've got it. It's mad, like I say, the amount of players and coaches and that we've helped over the years, and almost helping them understand that sometimes less is more. You don't need to overcoach, but then you can actually stand back and watch and see these little improvements that you can make them with one player rather than having this. And Paul McGuinness at Man United coach and FA coach, uses this lens idea all the time. It's sometimes you need this big lens and look at the whole game and everything, but sometimes you can zoom in, and look at the finer details. And at 3v3, you get to do both, because you're not then thinking about everything else, your tactics, your subs, everything else, and that's going on. The positions of players, you can almost right, I can focus in on this one thing that I want to see with this one player and work on it and hone it in. But then you can also sit back and go, just going to watch my team play here and enjoy him. Because the kids, again, we don't give them enough credit sometimes of what they'll just figure out themselves. And back to that street football, when we were kids, no adults come and told us what to do. Yeah. The person in charge was the kid who owned the ball,
Yeah, jumpers for goalposts.
And that was the rule. And we just got on with it and we figured it out. And it's do or die almost, those street scenarios.
Yeah.
I remember so I was a good footballer growing up. I had a brother 5 years older, and I played with his mates. So if I did get good, I just wasn't getting picked, in the game, or no one passed there. And there's a program now, I think it's on Netflix, it might be Amazon. No, it's not. It's on TNT Sport. It's called South of the River, and Rio Ferdinand did it. And it was why so many kids from South London are in this, elite group. Then now Premier League players, England players, and they took it back to this cage football that they'd go and play as kids, and that's what we want to recreate at 3v3. It's just this safe environment that they can go and play in, where they can just go and say repeat, these actions and just learn, and then say but it stays up there then once they've done it 100 times. And for me, the most important thing is so much fun. I say they're going to enjoy scoring, they're going to enjoy being on the ball, they're going to enjoy working hard.
I would have loved that as a kid. I would have been all over it. I'm just gutted it wasn't there. 20 odd. I'm giving my age away.
Well, I won't.
I was going to add a few more then. But...
we played in the black and white days, but no, say so much can be recreated in this small environment. And people say, why 3v3 and not 4v4 or 5v5 or something? And 3v3 to me is the smallest number that you can recreate what happens on the big pitch. So I have this conversation with our other countries, like managers sometimes. So here in the UK, we go from under 5 to, let's say, 85. But our main youth program, we go all the way up to 16s. Okay. My sons are under 16s. That's partly because we've done it so long. They've obviously grown up with it. But the returns that they get from playing this small-sided game, because they'll play this 11-a-side only. You know, I don't know what it's like there, but at 13, it's like you play 11-a-side and that's it, right? And surprise, surprise, a lot of kids drop out of that age group because 11-a-side is pretty boring for most kids.
Yeah. But it's a huge leap, isn't it, in every aspect?
You know, it just becomes, you know, it's a version now of the adult game. Generally, then you'll go again if some of the top teams are different, and you watch the best teams, and it's good to watch. But a lot of players, it's just long ball, constant in transition, and who's physically, you know, the strongest, and that's who wins. And especially that 13, 14 age when kids, you know, they've not hit the growth, they've not hit the puberty yet, and you know, they're playing against some lads who will be, you know, nearly 6 foot, and they'll be, you know, up to the hip or something, and they're going, I'm not enjoying this. Whereas at 3v3, so it's not about then, or not as important of having that physical attribute. The small, quick players, you know, can figure out on there and really shine, and then they can carry on playing and grow.
But there's like successes in there for everyone.
Yeah, 100%. And again, that's part of, you know, I say my job as an organizer is just to make sure that environment is right. And that might mean taking, I know when we do tournaments, you know, it's a bit stricter, but in our weekly sessions that we do, is we'll take kids out of their age group and put them up or put them down. You know, and it's not there's a box because of how old you are. It's there's an ability level that you can go and, like say, you know, shine in then. And there might be, you know, well, we're going to push you now and you're going to play with the older kids. And, you know, whereas you normally dominate someone else, you're now going to get dominated. How you're going to figure that out and, you know, put them in that environment then that is going to push them. Or, especially when they're starting, give them that entry level environment that might be with kids a couple of years younger than them. But that's the best way, as long as they're not going in and just bullying them and being, you know, too heavy. But you can just create the right environment, and I say that's what my job is. You know, I don't do much coaching anymore. I used to be heavily involved, but it's more now event organising. And I say, yeah, what do you do? I go, I create environments, and when kids come, whether it's for the first time they've been or the 100th time they've been, I want to come in there, and that whether it's an hour session or the 90-minute sessions that we do on some, is come in and have the best hour that they finish and go, I want to come back. Yeah, and they want to come back to us, and they want to go away and do more football. They want to now join a team, and say that the success stories I love is similar ones I've told is these, you know, players who scored the first goal. There's a kid who come to us and his mum said, Mike, I want him he wants to start playing football now. I'm like, he's 12. He's never going to join it. You know, no one's going to want a 12-year-old who's never kicked a ball. And he's like, what do we do? So bring him to us. We'll put him in the right environment, help him, you know, just figure out what football's about, and almost like get him ready. And then he joined the team. I know the season after he got player of the season, it's like, wow, you know what I mean? It was brilliant that. But if he didn't come into that right environment with us to start with, he would have gone into that team, failed in the first few weeks, probably would have hated football, and then never gone back, you know. And so there's loads of other benefits, you know, that we see. Some of this stuff we're working on, and off topic here now, we're going into other formats and that we do with the FA with a greater game, and it's with older players, 13s, 15-year-olds, and it's using football as the driver to bring them in, you know, so they can come into an environment and learn. And it's about eating well, sleeping well, moving and thinking, you know, and they're what the FA messages I want to get across, but we're using football to bring that in. So a lot of projects we do with our FA and other FAs around the world. That's not always just about like making the best players. It's what, you know, the benefits we can get from football, from that social aspect. You know, we've done stuff with a load of like disability groups. So before about the group with Alzheimer's, a lot of community-based projects and that we've done, and that's been say from 5 years old to 85 years old. So,
do you work with schools at all?
Yeah. So quite a few programs we have then we do with schools. One then is just you know, a simple football provider, and by having the Airpitch, you know, again, I don't know schools like there, but here we normally are restricted on space with a massive number, you know, and that's again a bit generalisation, but
Like all the after school activities, yeah.
Yeah, we've got 40 kids in a hall where, you normally play 5-a-side in, and we've got to, figure it out. So we do stuff like that. We do game programs for schools. We do then some inter-school competitions. I've just had literally a message popped up just before we spoke on a girls' game a school games organizer, where we'll do like an inter-school competition, like the end of year, a bit of fun game for them all to come and play, and that will split into girls who have played football before, and they'll go and play each other, and girls who haven't played football before, and they'll play each other. And again, that's another benefit of 3v3 is if they come to play like their normal game, which the age group will do, will be like 7v7. That school might have 3 players who play and 4 who don't. And the 4 who don't won't touch the ball, and the 3 who do will just be, running it all over.
You can diversify.
Yes, split it down, put them into, that again, the words that they'll use all the time, that right environment for them girls to play in, the right environment for these advanced girls to play in, and push them on. And it allows that then to happen. So a lot of programs with schools, again, some of the stuff here we have with the schools, kids don't do enough. Big obesity problem in the UK at the moment. Load of other health and mental, well-being issues. Then that probably, attached to that, like lack of activity that some kids do. And at 3v3, let's say there's no hiding place. So even if they're not kicking the ball all the time and involved on the ball, they're involved in the game.
Yeah.
And they can't hide almost. So it's, again, this is just stuff we've seen over the years. It wasn't meant to be this way, it's just, that was one of the things that we've noticed then. So players are involved, but once you involve them and they get excited and they score that first goal, they won't want to do it again, and they'll want to have that feeling. So they'll try a bit harder, and it's easy then to encourage them to do it again. So yeah, load of school programs then that we do, and then we do a high level inter-school, proper tournaments with some. We do the talent ID days with some schools, as well, where the England staff will come in. And I remember one, I think it might have been one of yours before you left. It was the Midlands. There was a girl in Birmingham that had never played in a team before, so she wasn't on anyone's radar. And the form she filled in, there was like no club name. And I don't know if it was you or someone else said, go and find out the rest of her information, because there was bits missing.
No, I remember that. That was Leeds. There was a kid at Leeds.
Right.
And I think maybe a brother or somebody bought her, so there was no parents around.
That's another.
I wanted a postcode. I wanted to know where she lived. Oh, is that a different one?
Yeah. No, different one. Yeah. So players like that, like I say, didn't play in a team. A brother brought us, so real issues of travel, etc. But the one in Birmingham, never been a part of a team. Just played on the streets, what we talked about before. And you watch the play, you go, again, we were asked then to get a detail. So you knew she was potentially, going onto the pathway. And then you find out a story, you go, wow, this girl has never been coached. How much better would she be if she was? Yeah, but then also I think, well, that's probably why she is so good, because she's not been coached. She's just done it herself. So having that balance, that this organised, unorganised, structured, non-structured, I think is a real good way of developing a rounded player. Whether it is for this elite level and players have dreams going on playing pro and national team, etc., or whether it's just they want to play with the mates and do that. The amount of teams that we have that enter our tournaments that are not teams, that are not official teams, you and your 2 mates from school, you might play with the teams, and you come together, because you couldn't go and form an 11-side team with your mates, not enough. But you think, 3 of us, we can go and play. So they'll go and play, they'll come to 3v3 and make up a name. 3 lions, 3 lionesses is a common one we see all the time. And then there's another one, we have a family, and it's
that's cool.
2 brothers and a cousin, right, who play. Obviously, brother's a year, one's a year below, and the cousin, and they play the team, and it's like, wow, again, their parents are buzzing because they'd never get to play, anything, normally. So, things like that they can do, and Yeah, just honestly, we can go on all day about all the returns that we see.
Yeah.
And I always go back to, let's say, okay, we've built this into a big organization now, you know, we have our finals at St. George's Park. We've worked with all the biggest academies then in England, you know, the Premier League, you know, they hire us in to run football for them. It's like, this is the biggest football, you know, organization in the world. And they ask us to do something for them, and it's mad. But I just think, you say, we create an environment that kids can thrive in, and they'll enjoy it, they'll want to do it again, and that's I'm a coach, you know, I'm a low-level coach compared to some, but that's all I see. Yeah, just getting kids loving the game, that they want to go and do it again and improve and get better. So that's it, I think.
Yeah.
So we're coming to Dubai on the 12th of April.
I was going to say that event, like 12th of April, where is it? Right Market, Hampden Field.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, I obviously know from an alliance perspective the benefits of us coming, but like other clubs and academies, like, what can they expect?
So they'll come down. I've seen some might see in video. The kids will love it. It'll just be a great environment. You know, we try and put on a good event, so it's not just the tournament, it's everything that goes with it then. So this will be our first in Dubai, probably my 1,001 at least. I've easily done 1,000.
Mr. 3v3, yeah.
Honestly, you know, I've done more 3v3 than anyone in the world. And I'm saying that as a fact because there's no one done more 3v3 than me. It's my everyday what I talk about. It's every day what we do. We've got like
eat, live, breathe, sleep.
Honestly, so in fact, the day I come back from Dubai, I've got to travel to Bournemouth, do a tournament there, then travel to Kent to do a tournament the next day, then travel to Bradford to do a tournament the next day, then go to my brother's wedding, and I went to my brother. Went, might have to put these back in. I'm gonna need to sleep. All these.
Yeah, just postpone your wedding. I'm busy with 3v3.
I'm sure his wife will be happy with that. But no, 12th of April we come in. Obviously, we want people to come, our teams to come, whether it's the clubs, bringing multiple teams like yourselves with Alliance. I know there's a few other clubs showing interest and they're just getting numbers and stuff together now. But then also there's some just individual teams, you know, sign up themselves. On the day, obviously, we have all our safeguarding certificates, all the insurance that is all covered there. And obviously we have it here, but we've got it set up over there as well. It'll be a great day. I know it's going to be hot. I'll probably be redder than what, you know, the t-shirt is. Kids will love it. Obviously, we'll have, you know, winners. Everyone will play like loads of games, and there'll be group games and knockouts. So each age group, boys and girls, will have them like an overall winner. We're not doing anything on this one, just being our first one. But again, going forward with what we do with this world program. And we have our nationals at St. George's Park in England, where England train. So all our UK kids, if you win a UK tournament, are going to come and qualify for our finals at St. George's Park. So we'll be having some World Cup versions as well. So that's all in the making. I say that the stuff we're going to do out there, we're going to have like some weekly league programs potentially then that we'll speak like midweek stuff. And loads of, let's say, different. We have 13 programs that we do here that we worked out. So
can't wait.
I can't wait. I love my country, but coming to Dubai a few times a year will be great. And then we obviously part of that we'll be looking for staff and for coaches to work with as well. So get in touch with me if you watch this and you've got to the end. Well, who's that man waffling on about 3v3? My wife said it all the time. It's all she hears me talk about. So no, hopefully people have found this interesting and can see my passion for what 3v3 does and for players. Can't wait to come over there. It's only 10 days now till the tournament. So get yourself booked in. Love to meet up with people while I'm over as well. So get in touch and we'll catch up.
We'll see you in the UAE very soon.
Well, you've asked me a million questions. I'm gonna ask you too. Obviously, you mentioned before how we met through the program and what you're seeing over there. So what do you? So we're bringing 3v3 over. Why do you? I know we've got all the benefits of what we've seen here. What do you think will happen, or for the players and that started playing 3v3 on a regular basis?
I think it's only going to be a positive impact. Like, we're going to see. I think if you could get one player or one team and measure the progress from the first time they start playing 3v3 or being exposed to it, to like when you can then, I don't know, say 6 months down the line, if you did like a 3 months, 12 months,
He's in 6 to 10 weeks, I'd say, massively.
There you go. So if we could compare the difference between when they first start to when they then, I don't know, whenever you measure it next, I think we're going to see massive returns in how quick the game is played here, the level of technical competence. I definitely think the growth of the game across the UAE in terms of players playing, which will then strengthen the quality and depth of the players playing. Because I think there's varying levels. Kids here from all over the world, so what they've been exposed to varies massively. Whereas if you can try and level and bridge the gap with that exposure and then what they are going to get returns wise, I think if you can level that playing field a little bit more, it will strengthen the level of football in UAE. And I think that can only be positive for Dubai, for the UAE in general. Hopefully it will then contribute to better teams. It can potentially, if there was links with the federation, like it could then strengthen the infrastructure overall. So like the grassroots infrastructure in the UAE. There's so much that you can get from it. I think clubs, I look from a club perspective, there'll probably be similarities across clubs in terms of challenges that they face day to day, like numbers of players that you have. How do you give them a games program when there's that much of a varied level of ability? Like, which leagues do we enter? This will offer a different dimension, whether it's internal games programs or whether it's a intra league that other clubs can access, whether it's midweek, because a lot of our leagues are Saturday, Sunday, and then teams and clubs will train during the week. But how do we give every single player an opportunity to experience a games program that is as rewarding and as beneficial as this? I think that's something. And then I look at the air pitch design, and the big thing for me is I'm thinking, how many as a club we have X amount of players. How many kids can we provide opportunity to through using pitches like this? We will book facility and it's like 11-a-side pitch or 9-a-side pitch, and then you have a capacity. But from a club operationally, like that kind of operations perspective, it almost adds a whole new dimension to what you can do. Like the amount of players on a pitch. I don't know. You know the maths. Like, what does that look like?
So, and people are normally blown away when the bookers in, they go, "Oh, how many pitches can you fit in 10?" And I go, "We can actually fit 30."
30 on one pitch, on one 11-a-side pitch.
36 in some cases, depending obviously the width of the pitch. But in general, an 11-a-side pitch, we fit 30. So that's 180 players playing
on one pitch.
Yeah. Obviously, if you then say every team had a sub, there's another 60 players. So what's that? 240. When we do that, the tournament formats, obviously,
do you know what, Mike? Just on that, like 240 kids. For some people, that's one academy in 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week. That's mad. Like the contact time you could have with players weekly that's huge. And
that's so obviously when it's just been introduced here, 3v3 for under 7, say starting in 26 season, is people are we're going to need more space. We need more teams, more coaches, more space. I thought it was just everything's more. It's like it's actually less. On a normal 5-a-side field, we can fit 4 quite easily. Sometimes 5 if you put one in a different way. So again, you look at them numbers, you go, where we normally have 10 players playing, we've now got 24 to 30. So when space becomes, a premium, which is inner city Manchester, everyone's fighting for the same AstroTurfs. It's like we can actually fit more in rather than less. to do that then. And because the way the air pitch works, you don't need, especially younger age groups, sometimes you're a ball catcher and you just constantly do running after balls, chasing them everywhere. Again, keeps it in play, keeps your job focused on the job in hand rather than
random question.
Shouting all the kids back.
Random question. Where's that? Have you ever done it on a beach? Stuck your air pitch on a beach?
Please. That's the only thing we've not done on. Yeah. It will work. I know it will, because in my head sometimes they have these mad ideas. And beach, 3v3 beach is definitely on my bucket. It's on my bucket list. I want to do that much. Here's one for you. We've actually been booked to run it in. So in Manchester we have like a snow dome at the Trafford Centre, ski slope.
No way. You're in there.
We were doing
No
it on yeah. So
that's quality.
When someone said, "Can it work on snow?" I said, "Yeah, to everything." So of course it can. I said, obviously the players might
find it
a bit difficult. They went, "Oh, we'll just bring it down for the party." So we'll bring it down and chill wearing. But yeah, beach is one then that we've not done yet. Any other, whether it's
where else have you done it?
So indoor hardcore, like a normal sports hall, of Astro, grass, outdoor like hardcore tarmac style, as long as it's clean. So they're all the surfaces that we've done it on. Done it on some rubbish grass venues as well, which I say you get some muddy, but you won't have that problem there. So yeah, beach is probably the only other surface that we've not tried, but I say I do know it would it would work. So yeah, let's get it set up. So we're bringing 8 air pitches over. We're not bringing them over. They're already there. They've landed. We're 5 guys over there already. So we've got 8 air pitches on this first tournament. I said before, obviously we will grow this and we'll bring more in as and when is needed. I think we've got about 50 air pitches here. Personally, in the UK, we have licenses as well. So there's 24 other areas, like little franchises in the UK and they have between 2 and 8. So there's probably 100 air pitches then that we've got. And then we have the other formats as well, the 1v1s up to the 5v5s. So yeah, we'll have more and more over time as we grow 3v3 UAE. We're going to other cities as well. Once we've set up, like I say, Dubai was just the first. But yeah, we're gonna run this wherever we can and looking to partner with different clubs, organisations. Maybe speak to the federation, show what we do here, how we can help it there in both the boys and the girls game. All these other programs that fit around it, with like the disability programs that we have. There's loads. So hopefully, next time we'll be speaking, it won't be on air. It'll be sat side by side, and I'll see you when I'm over. Looking forward to seeing the Lions then come and play, and then got other clubs and other contacts out there as well. So no, can't wait for it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Last question.
I know I deflected, didn't I?
Yeah. So I always ask this, and so we've done a series of podcasts over the years, and even though this is you asking me, but
what are you going to say?
I'm going to ask you your all-time 3v3 team. Who you play? Who you play is?
Paul Gascoigne, without a shadow of a doubt.
Right, go on. There's one.
You got to throw Messi in, haven't you?
Quite common, he's in there.
But do you know what? That's so bad because I've just named 2 male. So now I'm going to throw Lauren James. Absolute baller.
Player. Yes. Yeah. Class team. No, I change mine all the time. People.
Who's yours?
Oh, it does change. Paul Scholes is always my number one.
Oh,
yeah. And it's mad. So I've been out this morning for a walk, and they painted a mural on a local wall to where I live. Paul's from this area as well. So, but yeah, Scholes is always in there. Rooney, and you can tell who I support. When them 2 players are always in. And then my third one, and this is where it does always change. I go between Messi, Cristiano, but for me, the real R9 is a player. So yeah, the real Ronaldo. Watch the video.
Ronaldo.
I don't know if I sent it you the other week. I would mention it.
That's my era.
The Nike advert on the ship where they play 3v3, and you just look at the players back in the 90s, it must have been. And yeah, you've got Ronaldinho in there, Zidane. Say like, yeah, some of these players are like, wow. Eric Cantona, like the MC of it all.
Nice.
So no, that's your team's good. I think my team's is a bit better, but it does change it all the time.
Yeah, well, we'll have transfer window soon.
Yes. Well, when we're over, we'll see. So no, cheers for inviting us on, Jess. I'll put this on our socials then as well. Obviously, if you want to share it on yours, we'll share it on the 3v3 World YouTube page as well. So no, and I'll see you in 10 days or less.
Yeah, very soon. Cheers, Mike. Look forward to it.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.